Hey guys, Sampram here. So today I will be making a loan amortization model. So I'm sure everyone wants to take a car or even a house. They want to buy it one day. So definitely we'll use this amortization schedule to understand how we can make our payments and a small calculation to learn if X is our loan amount with interest, how exactly we can clear it off and by how many months we have to do our repayment schedule. So without further ado, let me get into the inputs of what I think we can use in this table. So one would be the original principal value, right? Then we can have the loans tenure. Then we can have the annual interest rate, right? Then we can have the frequency of uh, loan or frequency of a repayment. Can label that as that. Number of periods in a year, so dependent on the frequency. Total number of periods, total number of periods, right? And then we can say periodic payments. Okay, so these can be few of our definitely input values that we can basically make from our loan amortization model. I mean, for it. So let's suppose you want to get 15 lakhs as your loan amount and you want to take it for 5 years. And why am I saying this? You want to purchase a car, right? So 15 lakhs will be your amount that you want to take on loan. Let's say the annual interest rate is somewhere between 9.5%, right? So we'll just turn this into percentage, right? And move this across. Right now, frequency of repayment is interesting. Here, I'm thinking we can see a monthly method, we can see an annual method. So let's automate that. So I'll go to data validation. I'll put it as a list. So first, I'll say we can have it on a monthly basis. Second, I'm gonna say we can have it on a semi-annual basis, and then I'm gonna say we can have it on a annual basis. Okay, so that's done, and now we have a drop down with monthly, semi-annual, and annual. So I'm gonna say monthly for now, and then what I'm going to do is we'll find the number of periods. So here what I'll try to do is I'll create a small table saying monthly is equal to 12, semi-annual is equal to 2, and annual equal to 1, right? So here what I can say is we have VLOOKUP. This is my lookup value. Then this is my small table where I'll search from. Then I'll say if I want it from the second column and I'm going to put a 0, right? And perfect, we got 12 months. So if I change semi-annual, we get 2. If I get annual, I get 1, right? So we'll just keep this as a small indicator, as this is our frequency and number of periods, right? So now that we have done VLOOKUP for this, we can now say total number of periods. So for total number of periods, what will I do is that I can just say it's number of periods into the number of years, right? So 60 months ideally would be my periods here. So I'm going to put this in months, or I'm going to just leave it as total number of periods, because if I'm going annually, then you will know. So we have the frequency right here, right? So periodic payment is something that we should calculate. Here I am going to be using the PMT function. So I'm going to say PMT is okay. So PMT is basically to get your periodic payments. We know our rate. So this is our rate. It's 9.5%. I'm gonna fix this because it's fixed rate that we have right here. I'll divide it by the I will divide it by the number of periods that I have, okay, which I will also fix. The total number of periods that I have here is 60. So then what I can then say is that we should find our present value, which is 15 lakhs, right? And that 15 lakhs is I can just enter now. And because it's something that we're taking, I'll put negative. So we got our periodic payment to be, I'll just put this in bold. We got a periodic payment to be 31,502. So I'm just gonna round this up to whole number. So now we know that our periodic payment is 31,000, and let's go ahead by building our loan amortization model, right? And schedule, sorry. So let's just merge this and we'll say this is our loan amortization schedule of payments, right? So schedule of payments, right? So 1 second, we can say it is yearly, right? So what do we need? We know that one is we need the month, or let me say we need the period. We need the payment of what it is. We have to pay interest, so we should pay interest. Then we have our principal amount, and then we have our balance, right? And what I'll do is I'll remove this and then just copy. Oh, 1 second. Sorry about that. I'm just gonna copy this into this cell, right? And then just remove this cell as it is, and I'll just merge it. Okay. So, what I can do here is I will. So I'm just making everything a little more seamless so that everyone can just have a look at the loan amortization scheme I'm making. So what I'll say is I'm on period 0, right? And then this is going to equal to the balance that I'll have, which is initially is 15 lakhs is my initial balance. Like that's how much I'm going to be taking, right? And then what will we have? We'll have our period, which is equivalent to 1. However, in this first period, I'm gonna ensure that everything is entered, right? Our payment will be our periodic payment, right? Here we can definitely calculate interest on many schemes, right? We can just take 9.5% of whatever amount we have. However, I'm going to use a separate function here. So I'm going to use something called IPMT. So IPMT. Okay, so this is similar. It's just for interest rate. So I'm gonna again take my interest rate and then one minute. I'm gonna divide it again by the number of years I have, right? And then I'm going to do it as per the normal standard where here it's the period. So I'm gonna take this period. Right? After this, I'm gonna take the now total number of periods I have, and again I'm gonna just put my 1 second. I'm gonna put negative and then my value, and we get 11,875. So that's our interest, right? For our principal calculation, we can easily just do payment minus interest and we get 1960 627. However, here also I would like to use a new function called a PPMT, which is a payment our principal payment. So here also it's very similar. I will basically use the same methodology of what I did for the previous function. So I'm gonna say my rate divided by my number of periods, right? Right, and then what I'm gonna say is that I'm gonna again say my period and then its total number of years and negative 15 lakhs, right? So that's gonna give me 19 to exactly like what I realized. So how I'm gonna verify this? Payment minus my interest. Again, I get 19, 627. So basically our function is working correctly. So I am good to go, right? Now we have to get the balance figure. So for the balance figure, we'll just take our balance amount minus our principal, where we were able to easily get this amount as well, right? So overall, so far we have easily used PMT, IPMT, which is our interest payment, then principal payment also done, and we got a balance. Now, how do I ensure I get this model to be more automated? What I'm going to plan to do is in my period, rather than just saying one, what I'll do is I'll say the previous cell plus one, right? And here, what I can push out and do is I can use a if function. So I can say if bracket close, if the previous cell plus one. Okay, if the previous cell plus 1 is less than or equal to, okay, less than or equal to, I'm gonna say is less than or equal to my my total number of years. So I'm gonna make this my total number of years. Okay, then it should also be this, which is it's going to be true. So if it's less than or equal to my total number of years, I'm gonna say it's this plus one. Okay, so plus one, and if it's not, I'm gonna put that into quotation marks, right? And I'm gonna add another if function. Okay, I'm gonna add another if function suggesting that if the previous cell is blank, so what I can do is if the previous cell is blank, so I'll say if my logical test, so here, or wait, let me change that, right? uh, Say if you know yeah, if my wait a second, I'm gonna say if this is equal, I'm gonna put it as if this previous cell is equal to blank, then you should also give me You should also give me blank with this. So I'm gonna enter this. Yeah, I'm gonna take the correction and I'm just gonna drag this down. So now you can see that we got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the reason I've done this function of two ifs is that if my previous cell is not equal to this, and it should be blank, and if it is false it also should be blank, on the circumstance that if this plus 1 is less than the previous cell plus 1 of total number of periods, it doesn't exceed. So in this function what I'm going to showcase is that later once we change our monthly value, automatically our amortization model should be fixed. So now that I did a if function for that, I should also ideally do a if function for each of my cells, where I can say if this period number is greater than or lesser than, you know, 1 second, is greater than lesser than blank, and then I can say comma, the B11 value, or wait, let me remove that, the B11 value should also be blank. So I'm gonna put this as this, and here also in front of IPMT, I'm gonna say if this period is, again as I said, if this period is again greater than equal to dash blank, then this must also be blank if it's false. Okay, and I'm gonna put the same function here as well. If my period is greater than equal to blank blank, then this PP principal payment must also then go ahead and be blanked out. Okay, so now that I have applied this, all I can do is that I can basically okay, I've done it till principal, so principal is also done. I can actually, because I did for principal, I will also do it for my my previous one as well. So I'm gonna say this greater than equal to dash dash comma and comma your bracket and close. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'm gonna use this function all across. Okay, I'm gonna use it all across, and clearly there is something where the function itself hasn't gone wrong. So this could be because I haven't made this constant. So let's just make this constant, and then this should get fixed. Okay, that should get fixed. Everything else, okay, this value also I need it to be constant, right? And then this value also I'm gonna say that this is also constant. Okay, and this value also should be all of this. Okay, that doesn't need to be constant. All right, so now what I'll do is I'll again drag it, and we can see that our interest payment is uh definitely not changing. So I exactly have to see what has happened in this function. So I'm gonna say this is also gonna be constant, then this is also going to be constant, right? And then I'm gonna drag this down. Okay, and now what I can do is that I basically drag this whole function down till wherever it can, and I also drag my function from here all the way down so that it can be expressed in any manner, right? And we can then see what exactly will happen. So here it's clearly noted that there must be some error in my calculation once again, where let's see this. Okay. So clearly there must be something with this principle where we are going wrong, because clearly all the other functions look okay, right? So that's constant, and I am saying that IPMT is also there, right? And I'm gonna say that this is negative, okay. I've also said it's negative by number of periods, okay, that also looks fine to me. Blank and blank. My function looks okay here, but it must be something here where I said this is equal to blank and this is also equal to blank. So yeah, that works out. So why is it that it ends there? Okay, it definitely has to be something to do with my function in my principal value, where okay, all is equal. Oh, okay, hold up. I think I know why, and it's because this doesn't have to be consistent, and then we pull drag it down. Yeah, there we go. So there we go. Right, perfect. So we got our loan amortization to work. So there was a small edit that we had to do. And the reason for that is the fact that here what I had accidentally done is I'd also made this into a fixed contract. So now that I've applied the whole function across, we can see what magic we can do. If now I want to change this to from monthly to semi-annual, I get the whole semi-annual graph. If I want to change from semi-annual to annual, I get the whole annual chart as well of how much payment I need to do. So this is a very nice way for me to really play around and get to know how exactly a loan amortization schedule will work. So for example, now my interest rate is 8.7%. Right now I've changed to 8.7, and suppose we are having 20 lakhs. See, as soon as that happened, my periodic payment changed and I'm able to do a lot more. So, for example, if I'm taking a loan of 85 lakhs for suppose a home, right, 8,500, 85,000, 8 lakhs, 85 lakhs, and it's at 8,000, and I'm going to be paying monthly. That means every month I'll be paying 1,75,000, and I have a full amortized loan schedule. And if I want to again pay annually or semi-annually, I also have that amount itself. So clearly it has worked out. Now if I want to buy a car, which is again as I mentioned 15 lakhs, we have a semi-annual of where I pay 1 lakh 88 in these installments. If suppose I change it to monthly, I pay 30,920 rupees, and all my loan amortization schedule works. So I hope everyone got a good view from this video. It was great to really, figure out exactly how we can use PMT, even though I know in the principal area we made a slight mistake of not changing it to just keeping it to actually keeping it constant and not keeping it overlaying. So we can change it to, again, as I said, annual, and we have a full PMT um, loan amortization schedule. So thank you for watching. Thank you, and I hope everyone also understands how we did this automated schedule. If anyone wants this, they can definitely contact me, and we can get a whole full-fledged automated sheet. Thank you.